Okay, you guys are.
Yep.
You guys ready down there? Good evening and welcome to the October 5th meeting of the Glenville Town Board. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Please join me in prayer. Dear Lord, we are meeting today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, of right thought, and right speech. Impart your wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. And we thank you for being our source of guidance tonight. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Councilman Martin?
Here.
Councilman Rutherford?
Here.
Councilman Baluski?
Here.
Councilwoman Wozzowski?
Here.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Here. Thank you for all being here. The agendas are right up front. As you can see, everything we'll be conducting business tonight is on the agenda. There's one add-on on that agenda. It's add-on resolution 1, which will be taken up after item number 13 and before item 14, and that is a resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter into an agreement with the Scotia Industrial Park and Belgioso Cheese to accept easements as described within the attachments. So we'll take that up right after. With that, we'll start with reports, and I'll start on my left with Councilman Galuski.
Mr. Supervisor, just to report that the GECC met on September 26th. They had a good meeting. One of the things that they left with, and they reached out to you and got the go-ahead from you, was noting in the town's comprehensive plan that one of the goals was to implement standards for the installation of low-energy, dark sky-friendly, zero or low-emission outdoor light fixtures by both private and public entities. And they're going to start working on that and looking for coming up with a plan or a goal or an objective for that. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Wozzowski.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, this afternoon I attended a meeting of the working group for the town chiefs in connection with the potential fire training tower down on Bly Road. They'll be sending out some communication with their other members regarding what people want. And we'll probably be meeting probably 2 weeks or so from now. We'll be meeting again to go over everything and try to come up with a direction. So
Great.
it's not necessarily moving quickly, but it's moving.
Good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Councilman Martin.
Yeah, I attended the 927 meeting of the LDC. The primary point of discussion was the micro enterprise program and getting some of the applicants moving again. So subsequently, I came in on the next Thursday, the 29th, and met with Nick and Lynn and discussed ways that we can get the applications moving again. Also, as you know, attended for a short while, but that meeting followed at 10 a.m. Then I had to go to work. But it might run if I can get back on track, and we do have two very active applicants and a potential third. So it's going at forecast. We just got to
Thank you. Councilman Amatar.
Attended no meetings, but just a reminder, I think the police are, correct me if I'm wrong, having their car seat installation checkpoint this Friday, which is a good service for anyone that still has car seats.
From 3 to 6:30
When is that?
this Friday. Yep.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, done with council reports. We'll move to privilege of the floor. We do have a few folks signed up. And we're going to start with Bonnie Osfeld from Harmon Road. That's you. That's you.
Good evening. and Thank you for letting me have privilege of the floor. I'm going to just read what I sent out to all my neighbors. I gave a copy to Supervisor Kozel. Dear Harmon Road neighbor, my name is Bonnie Osfeld. I live on Harmon Road for 44 years, red house with white shutters. In the most recent year, 2022, I have noticed a number of near misses with traffic coming and going from Route 50 onto Harmon Road and from Harmon Road to Route 50. These have been very close with children, walkers with friends, and pets and seniors. According to the Glenville police that I spoke with, Harmon Road has become a speedway because there is nothing to slow down the traffic from UPS trucks, FedEx, Amazon, multiple delivery trucks, and vehicles from some residents down in and out of the Glen. The town police for a few weeks have been monitoring the vehicle count and speedway with wires across the road. And I want to really thank them very much for their very quick response to my concern. I was quite surprised at how quickly that got done. So I want to thank them. And I also gave the date and time for the meeting. I have a senior here, Lila McMullen is here. She will not want to speak. And Brian, he's going to want to say something. Okay. So if you feel that this is a safety concern, please join me tonight to discuss this with the town board members. Thank you, Bonnie Oswald. And I have to say, when my tipping point was, there are 5 families between Route 50 and Drop with children and pets. And the day that I saw a 4-year-old with his little 4-wheel drive coming out of his driveway, trying to maneuver with his head down, and he came out of the driveway and he ended up in the middle of the road. The parent is sitting there probably having the same heart attack that I'm having. And a car comes from 50 and a car comes from the Glen, and whoosh, right between him. He was trapped, literally trapped between 2 cars, both going too fast. And it truly was a wonder whether or not he could have stopped. And when I reach my tipping point, I say to myself, it's not if, it's when. And I think as the town, you know, there's that old proverb that says it takes a village. In this situation, it takes a street. And we really need to be concerned about our children and our seniors and people who are walking their pets. So I want to thank you for this time, and I'll turn it over to Brian if that's okay.
Sure. Thank you. Brian, just state your name and address for him. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brian Baker. I live at 17 Harmon Road. I live right next door to Bonnie. Bonnie raised this issue with me, and it's not something that I have not noticed before. And first, thank you again, board, for allowing us to speak. We've had a number of younger families move into this neighborhood recently. Just next door to me on the other side of my house, a family that has 2 very young children just moved in, replacing a retiree. And I think this is something that's going to be happening more and more and more as some of the retirees in the neighborhood age out and move out and younger families come in, because it's a great neighborhood. And one of the things that I've seen the young child that Bonnie has referred to driving on his 4-wheeler in the street quite a number of times. There is no stop sign between Harmon Road. When you go past Drop, then it bends around like this. I'm sure you guys are mostly familiar with it until you get around the corner like that. Numerous UPS, Amazon, lots of delivery trucks come up and down the road. I'm an avid cyclist. I sometimes bike the bicycle around my neighborhood just to get the thing straightened away. And there have been times where I've seen cars going past me at fairly high rates of speed. So my concern is for the kids. My concern is for the people who walk, because there's a number of people who walk, a number of people who have dogs and they walk their dogs. I mean, in the evenings, there's hundreds of dogs, almost literally hundreds of dogs. By trade, I was an engineer, so engineers don't state problems without coming up with possible solutions. I feel that 2 of the possible solutions, the first one would simply be a 4-way stop at Drop and Harmon. I believe that would slow down traffic so they don't, barrel down the road. A second one that can work, but I'm not as big of a fan of, is speed bumps, just because if you have a car that runs really low, you can damage a car, and I'm not a big fan of that. So I'd like to ask, in summary, I'd like to ask the board's consideration for either a stop sign at the corner of Jott and Harmon, or take a look at other measures that may be able to be used to slow down traffic on Harmon Road, just to be protective of the kids, the pedestrians, the dogs, the cyclists, the number of people that use that lane. And that's usually what I thought.
Thank you. Ma'am, are you sure you don't want to speak? Would you like, yes. Well, privilege floor is open, so you might as well take advantage of it.
Anyway, I also had the privilege of driving school bus down in Bethlehem Central School District, okay? 29 and a half years service between Burn Hills and down there. And it was another case where two boys were going back and forth across the road in the house next to us. And I said, oh my God, something's going to happen. 2 days later, he was killed. Okay? And it was a horrible, horrible scene. So, I mean, now I'm seeing the possibilities on Harmon Road because I'm back home again. And I really think that there has to be something to slow down the traffic. And it's also happening on Fredericks Road because my house backs up to them and I hear them speeding down that road too. So, children are our most important product. So, yeah, I think something has to be done.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? There's really no one else in the room to be heard. So with that, I'll close privilege of the floor, going once, going twice. Being none, privilege of the floor is now closed. As Bonnie alluded to, the study was done fairly quickly by the PD, which we're all impressed with and very happy about. The chief did share a report with me. I didn't have a chance to really dive into it too much, but I can share that with you in an email and you can maybe distribute it to anyone interested. It does have traffic volume counts, average speed, high speed, low speed. It has everything you would want to know. I think it's like a 3 or 4 page report. So that's done. That's good. Second thing, with your recommendations on either the stop sign or the speed bumps or whatever, Councilwoman Rosbowski is the liaison to the Traffic Safety Committee, and maybe you can bring that forward just as since they already have a traffic study, they could probably bring it up in the next committee meeting.
Yes, I think we should be meeting in November. So I'll make sure, I'm sure that the one member that is in charge of setting up those traffic counters, he will have a report for us, and I'm sure it will be a topic of discussion. But if it doesn't come up, I'll make sure that it does.
So
That's where it has to start.
yeah, that's where it has to start. So we'll move that forward. So with that, we'll move on to the supervisor's comments to the board. Oh, you can stay if you like, or you can do whatever you want. Yeah. You're free to stay or you're free to go. Thank you.
I know.
I feel like a judge back there. It's like, you're free to go. It's okay. Couple quick things and then just a little bit on the budget, because obviously it's out there and it's ready to have those discussions. I want to update everyone on the interviews. As you know, we've had open positions, a number of open positions for some time. We've had a very slow start for folks responding to those positions, but now all of a sudden we have quite a few folks applying. So Vicky and Jason and I and anyone and Pat, whoever's position is it's affecting and starting the interview process, and we've had some very good interviews so far. And we'll keep you up to date on that. But really, with all the positions that are open, the DPW commissioner, I think I reported to you that Pat Argos will be at the end of the year, so receiver of taxes, the director of planning, it just goes on and on. In this budget, I'll talk a little bit about that. We've changed a little bit the receiver and the clerk's office in this budget, where we always had a deputy receiver of taxes who worked very strange hours. It's like feast or famine. They would work like a month and a half, like a lot, and then nothing for a couple months, and then a month and a half for a lot. It was very hard to find anyone who was interested in those types of hours. It was like no work or all work. And so Jason and I and Pat and Julie have kind of talked about a model where, seeing that we've had a need also in Julie's office for some archiving and some stuff, is to really merge the deputy receiver and add a full-time deputy clerk in conjunction with the deputy clerk that's there now. So it's actually adding another half-timer when you put it all together for one full-timer, who will then work deputy receiver when we need them to work deputy receiver. So it'll be a shared kind of swing between the two departments. And that would then relieve the need for a deputy receiver and also relieve the need for like archiving and all these other things that we need our coverage at the county during certain days. So we'll talk more about that in the budget, but that's another position that we'll be interviewing for. So there's a lot of interviews going on right now, but it's all good. I had the opportunity today to join the Montessori school right here on Route 50 to cut the ribbon on the playground. If you're ever kind of like having a slow Monday or a slow morning and you want to get like a lot of energy, go on a playground with a bunch of 3-year-olds. It was a lot of fun. But that was the ARPA money we gave to help them build that, and we cut the ribbon on that, and I was thankful that they invited me. The events committee, Julie's working on this one as well. We're going to have our tree lighting this year. That's the next event going on. I think Mike's dressing up as an elf, he told me.
I'll be the Grinch.
But we're talking about moving it potentially so we always did that on Saturday after Thanksgiving, which was hard for a lot of people. And so we're thinking about moving it to December 3rd, just so it's not that holiday stuff in the middle, people out of town or whatever. As usual, Julie and the committee and Cassie are going to bring it to a new level. So we'll probably have igloos out there and stuff like that. I don't know, but we'll be working on that one next. So it's December 3rd, we're pretty sure. Put that on your calendar if you can. The electronic recycling event is going on this Saturday right here, Town Hall. I think it's 9 to 3. It's outside. It's not in here. People will drive through, drop it off. And I've gotten 300 questions on this. They do not take TVs, but if you call them, they will arrange to get your TV or drop it off or pick it up or something like that. Not on Saturday. They'll come back and do that. Apparently DEC regulations are very strict and they have to charge because DEC charges is like a $20, I don't know what the charge is, but there's a phone number on that flyer people can call. The other thing I've been telling people, and people don't realize this, is you could take your TV to the county and farm. And you just have to pay them $20, but they'll take your TV. But that fee, you're not going to get around the fee anymore. It's just DEC fees. So that's really it for updates. As far as the budget's concerned, I think we've all talked about this a couple of times. We were happy, Jason and I were thrilled to be able to come in with a tax rate increase of 2%, which is under the tax cap yet again. We're excited about that. We really, I in particular, I won't speak for anyone else, I really wanted to come in lower than I really wanted to zero, but with where inflation is and where things are going, it just isn't something that we're able to do this year. That 2% will increase a home, a typical townhouse, typical town home in the Glenville. It's assessed at $172,000, about $18 a year in main taxes all in. So we think that's manageable. In the village, a $116,000 house will see an increase of about $3. So again, not too much. The one thing I want to point out, the tax rate for the village residents will be lower in 2023 than it was in 2018. So they're still paying a lower tax rate than they were even back in 2018. And we have been able to give the village residents a cumulative tax cut over the last 5 years. And that's in stark contrast to the cumulative 19% tax increase that the village of Scotia has placed on the SAC past 5 years. So I just wanted to point that out. This budget also does a few other things. It continues to cut our debt as much as we can get away with. It continues to protect the fund balance. We're able to reduce the use of the fund balance just a little bit. We talked about the need for the Public Works Commissioner, which is a new position, which we are using other positions to help absorb that shock. But you know, we're at the point where we have so many projects going on. I'm going to list a few that the budget funds, that this has now become a full-time position in and of itself. And we need to separate the two and give both those folks, the highway superintendent and the DPW commissioner, an opportunity to be successful. You know, we cannot continue to try to put everything on one person and just there's not enough time in the day. So that's something I think that's important. We continue to fund our youth programs, Scotia Glenville youth programs at $5,000. We continue funding the Yates Mansion at $50,000. Bulk item did make it in at $80,000. So right now that under the tax cap absorbs the bulk pickup program still. So that's still in there. 80,000 for the bulk pickup, 97,000 for retirement sick leave payouts. We expect some of that this year. We included 3 new police cars in the budget. We included the part-time superintendent of water and sewer, which we appointed last week, Dana Gilgore, or last meeting, I should say. It adds the deputy clerk position I just talked about. It continues the SRO program in both school districts. It also absorbs all the highway, DSCA, town hall, and PDA negotiated raises. It obviously absorbs the health insurance increase, which is significant. It adds $40,000 to demo Anderson Barn, $25,000 to create a golf disc course in Indian Meadows, $55,000 to replace the HVAC at Senior Center, and $3 million to add Water District 2 extension to Water District 11. So that's all within this budget. I think it's another solid budget. Other projects that we're funding, so the projects that we've been working on over the past year or two have been in design. Now they'll be in funding phase, which is where our capital reserves come in. We will, RFQs are coming in for the town hall, so we'll be looking at a decision regarding renovation or replacement of town hall and the police department. We will begin the Freeman's Bridge Road multi-use path. We will complete the sidewalks at O'Rourke Middle School and Glencliff Elementary. We'll move forward on restoring the town portion of the Mohawk Hudson Bike Hike Trail, begin the construction of the Van Buren Road pedestrian path, and create a walking path linking town center to the Anderson Dog Park and Indian Meadows Park. Expansion of the water distribution system, which includes the Glenville Business and Technology Park and the West Glen neighborhood. Complete the installation of the new kayak launch at Meadowwood Park. Continue to work with our veterans on the new Legacy Park. As I mentioned, the disc golf course at Indian Meadows and the restoration of Yates Mansion. So there's a lot in that budget. And I'm proud that, and I want to thank Jason and the department heads and the staff and Vicki and everyone else for getting to where we need to be to make this an affordable budget, but also a budget that invests in our community. The only thing that we've cannot fund this year that we've done the past couple of years is the extra $150,000 in paving. It's dry. You can't keep going to that well. We went through it enough. So paving in 2023 is going to be less than what we see being done now. And I think we're going to have some conversations with the highway superintendent on what gets paid and where we go from there. So other than that, some financials just to bring you up to date on as we continue to talk budget over the next couple of weeks. Our second quarter Metroplex sales tax check was down 5% from last year. Our first quarter check was basically flat, so our year to date so far is down 3% on Metroplex sales tax. That's not too bad. Last year was the first time we topped $1 million in Metroplex sales tax, and we're on pace to do it again this year, so that's good. We should meet our $1 million budget. Our cable franchise revenue for the first half came in at $176,000. I think you've all heard me talk about how I'm concerned about this revenue line. We've seen that decline over the last 4 years, so we're hopeful. We see signs that it may have at least stopped based on the first half of the year. The check we got, we expect to be at our budgeted number, so we should be okay there. Our mortgage tax year runs from October through September, so we just closed last week on that. We're waiting for total numbers, and I should have brought my water because I had a tickle in my throat. But we're waiting for the final numbers on that, but we should be in the neighborhood of about $920,000. This is a drop from the 1.1 million from 2021, which was our historic high. And we've seen a little bit of a slowdown in the mortgage market. So you could probably talk to us about that and what the bank is seeing. But you're seeing when rates double, you're going to see a little bit of a slowdown there. So that's got us a little bit concerned going forward. And we received our next year retirement rates from the state comptroller's office, and it's not good news. In 2023, the rates for our police officers are about 5%, and the rates for non-police officers are about 15%. What you're probably seeing there is the result of the stock market. And unfortunately, it's the snapshot during the time that they take it, not what's happening in 2023. So if it rebounds, we're still going to be at these numbers. Next year, we'll expect to pay the retirement system $1.2 million for employee portion of the retirement cost. And that's a $300,000 increase over the last 5 years. So that's a significant line. I kind of can't talk anymore because I have that tickle in my throat. I think I've given you a lot of information, but any questions or comments? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll go back to the agenda and we'll take up resolution number 7, approving the town of Glenville's independently audited financial statements for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Basically what I just said, this is approving the audit for the town financial statements. I don't have any questions since we have our comptroller here or anything on the audit. Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Zaborski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 8, to schedule a public hearing on Wednesday, October 19th to consider any objections to the assessment roll for Water District 11 and extensions number 10 through 51. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Moved and second. Any discussion?
As you said, Mr. Supervisor, schedule a public hearing to hear and consider any objections to the Water District number 11, extension number 10 to 51 on October 19th at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Zaborski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution is schedule yet another public hearing regarding the assessment roll for Sewer District 9 and Extension 7. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Moved in second. Any discussion?
As you said, Mr. Supervisor, schedule a public hearing to hear and consider any objections made to the assessment roll for Sewer District number 9, Sewer District number 9, extension number 7, Town of Glenville, scheduled for October 19th at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Zaborski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 10, to schedule a public hearing regarding assessment roll for Sewer District number 1. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second. Moved in second. Any discussion?
This is a resolution to schedule a public hearing to hear and consider any objections made to the assessment roll for Sewer District number 1, October 19th at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Zaborski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Martin?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 11, to schedule a public hearing regarding the assessment roll for sewer district number 2. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a second. Moved in second. Any discussion?
As you said, Mr. Supervisor, another public hearing to hear and consider any objections made to the assessment roll for sewer district number 2, scheduled for October 19th at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Goodwin?
Yes.
Councilman Osowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 12, appointing a certain person to the position of maintenance helper. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a second.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, there currently exists a temporary vacancy in the town of Glenville Water Department due to military leave of full-time water department employee, which lasts until summer of 2023. The town has in the past employed Tyler Stocker during the summer of 22 as a seasonal laborer and is choosing to also put him in this temporary position until the employee on military leave comes back, looking at hiring Tyler at $17.32 an hour on a part-time basis.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Goodwin?
Yes.
Councilman Osowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution seems to be missing from the packet. 13. No,
I don't have it.
it is approving the minutes. Do we need the resolution?
Um,
Do we need the resolution to pass the resolution?
Yes.
This is a Nancy Pelosi. We got to pass it first, then you can read it. That was for you, Mike. All right, so we can, since we know essentially what the resolution is, it is approving the minutes for the board meeting held on September 21st, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I would just thank Ms. Davenport and staff for putting the minutes together for us.
Thank you. Any other
And
questions?
reminder next time to do the resolution. Sorry.
There was some talk today about the minutes.
Minutes were a hot topic.
We weren't sure whether we were gonna.
So we didn't, but we didn't produce a resolution. So any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Goodwin?
Yes.
Councilman Osowski?
Yes.
Yes, resolution passes. We'll go to the add-on one before new business, and that's a resolution authorizing the supervisor to enter an agreement regarding easements in the Glenville Business Technology Park regarding water infrastructure. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, this resolution is in connection with, as you stated, the Scotia Industrial Park and Belgioso Cheese. They seek to dedicate 3 easements to the town of Glenville. The purpose of the easements would be to allow the town to access to operate and maintain certain new and older water mains that were part of the Belgioso cheese manufacturing plant and their subsequent warehouse project. It also allows the town access to operate and maintain planned future extensions of these water mains. Additionally, these easements are part of the town's overall plan to circulate town water through the Scotia Industrial Park from Route 5. We have the ability to provide more volume and at a higher pressure, which allows the businesses within the Scotia Industrial Park to meet the fire flow requirements for larger commercial projects. Town Commissioner of Public Works supports the conveyance of these easements, so this resolution, should it pass, would authorize the supervisor to enter an agreement with Scotia Industrial Park, Inc. and Belgioso Cheese, by which it accepts 3 easements and certain water infrastructure contained in said easements for dedication as part of Water District number 11 to be effective with the passage of this resolution.
Thank you.
In short.
Any other questions or comments?
If I may, Mr. Supervisor, just to comment, I'm supporting the resolution, but to reiterate statements I've made previously, encouraging representatives from the village and representatives from the town to get together and have productive conversation about the town's proposal for the ongoing water project. That I think I would encourage those conversations to take place. I know I've had conversations with my colleagues on the board, as well as with some of the village representatives, encouraging them to reach out to other colleagues on the board, and we'll continue to do so.
Well, we continue to have our door open. That's how we left our last conversation. And, I don't think the village trustees are signaling that they're willing to sit down and talk when they characterize me as a liar at their work session last night. I don't think that's a helpful step forward. I don't think it's productive. I don't think it's professional. And I just think that at this juncture, our best policy is probably wait until a new administration comes in on December 7th. And then maybe we can deal with some people that want to actually get some business done. But in the meantime, we're going to move forward with our infrastructure, and this is an important piece to that. And, the message remains, we're ready to talk. Any other questions or comments?
I would like to say, an increasingly important member for the park community out there. Happy to be able to, take these steps to supply the live homes to them and for them to grow. And, we need to act in due course, and I'm happy to do that. So, just wanted to say.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Zaborski?
Yes.
Councilman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Chapman?
Yes, resolution passes. We'll go on to new business, our last item on the agenda. I'll start on my left with Councilman Galuski.
No new business.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski.
I have nothing.
Councilman Martin. Councilman Ramichardt.
Nothing new, but I think no one mentioned anything about Oktoberfest unless I missed it. I missed it, actually
Yeah,
missed it, but I
yeah.
know it was a great event. So once again,
It was a
thanks
great
for
event.
everyone at the town for contributing and this successful event.
It's hard to believe it's our first meeting since Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
beautiful day, great turnout
Can I share a quick story?
on Oktoberfest.
Yeah, I know I passed my turn, but it's to commend, it's just to commend Vicky Hillis for all of her hard work, and the story is funny from my perspective because, and I shared this with you, Mr. Supervisor, at the gym. I was with my wife and my daughter, and we were going into the bathroom, and we saw Vicky standing guard of the bathroom to let us know that there had been an overflow in one of the toilets, and she was waiting for someone to come and assist. And I was like, this is the part of the gig that no one's going to post on social media and share shiny, happy photos about, but it certainly is necessary. So thank you for your hard work, and thank you for everyone that was involved with the event. It was a wonderful, wonderful event.
Yeah, we definitely want to make sure we thank Vicky and Dave Hennel and committee and our highway folks and our police officers, and it just was a huge
fire
monumental-
department.
the
Yeah.
fire department, I mean, the county, everybody, First National Bank, huge monumental, and it was a wonderful community. It's great to hear so many people talk about how great it is to come out and be here.
Mhm.
That's great. Anything else, Councilman?
That's it. Nothing new.
The only thing I just want to add on, or just end on, is taking a moment to recognize that the town lost one of our former employees. Mike Visco passed away. Kathy Visco is a current employee here, and I just want, on behalf of the board and everybody here at the town, just recognize that Kathy and her family are going through a hard time. That we're here for Kathy and everybody, and that we're sorry for the passing of Mike. It seems like yesterday he was here, but I think it's been over 7 years.
It's been a little
maybe.
while, yeah.
6, 7 years. But just keep her and her family in your thoughts and prayers, and send out our best wishes.
Mhm.
And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move that.
A second,
Second.
moved in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.